name is Liam. Um, uh, I'm actually homeschooled, and my interest is science. I first became passionate about science when I was 4, when I uh, got this encyclopedia, and I was fascinated by the science section in the book, and yeah, it amazed me, and that's where the fascination started. It gives me perspective that I live in such a small part of the universe, and that the universe has existed far before me, a long time before me, about 12 to 13 billion years on average, about 12.9 billion years we now know, not for absolute certainty, but approximately. But yeah, I suppose that my insignificance, which I am fascinated with, because we live in this universe and we're a part of this universe, and what that determines our future, but also because it's so interesting. It's so amazing. It really is. The, the fact that we are just so small, and the deep questions, I suppose, why we're here, and about how did we get here, and what is our future. That's why I think that's why it's so amazing. One of the most recent discoveries, and probably the most exciting discoveries in paleontology, which is the section of science about natural history, that focuses on the study of natural history and the animals that existed long before humankind, and is the discovery about the rediscovery of Spinosaurus, which was possibly even larger than Tyrannosaurus, possibly one of the, if not the largest, predatory dinosaur that ever lived. It grew to, some think it might have grown to about 18 meters in length, which is enormous, even for a dinosaur. So it was a large carnivorous dinosaur, so that means it was bipedal, and it was a carnivore. It had a large sail on its back, and the purpose of which nobody's really sure about. It may have been to keep it warm. It may have only been present in males, which might be the reason, like the display of a peacock. The new discovery about Spinosaurus, I should say, is that it may have been aquatic. So that is that it would have spent a great deal of its time in the water, swimming in shallow streams and lakes. When Spinosaurus was first discovered in 1912, unfortunately, a lot of the bones were lost in World War II. However, it was rediscovered in late 1990s, I think. I may be wrong about that, but yeah, it was quite recent, and it was then found that it may have eaten fish. That is, it was discovered that Spinosaurus had relatively short back limbs relative to arms. That was a very strange discovery. But what was even more strange was the fact that its tail, the tail of Spinosaurus, was much like the tail of a newt. It had that sort of dorsal structure that's only really present in animals that swim. So therefore, it was concluded that Spinosaurus and dinosaurs like Spinosaurus would have spent a great deal of their time in water. It would have swum in water, used that tail to propel itself along. Well, I suppose because it's it's an animal that existed on the Earth that we currently exist on, and back then the Earth was very different, and we don't really understand how the ecosystem of Earth worked back then. At least we don't fully understand it. So that's why it's really so important. At least to science, it is important. But I think it would be to others too.